Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first session of Introduction to German-Speaking Countries. You've already met me. My name is Charlotte Mein, and I'm going to be your lecturer for this course. So, what are we talking about today? So, first of all, we are going to talk about what exactly is meant by German-speaking countries. Maybe you've been wondering, why is this lecture not called Introduction to Germany? What is meant by German-speaking countries? Which other countries count as German-speaking? We will get very quickly into that. And then I will just give you a quick overview of three countries, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I will talk a little about how many people live there, what their geography is like. So just some really basic things. So let's get started. So the next question is, which countries actually do speak German? Why do we call this lecture Introduction to German-Speaking Countries and not Introduction to Germany? Like, clearly the most obvious country that speaks German is Germany, which is here. But then we also have Austria in southeast of Germany, which is also entirely German-speaking. Then we have Switzerland, which is southwest of Germany. That is a multilingual country. They speak 4 languages, German, Italian, French, and something called Romansh. But German is, as you will see very soon, the most widely spoken language in Switzerland. Then we have a tiny country called Luxembourg, which is between Belgium, France, and Germany. Which speaks 3 languages. They have their own language called Luxembourgish. They have French. They also speak German. Then there's another tiny country between Austria and Switzerland, which is entirely German speaking, which is called Liechtenstein. Then, Belgium. Most of Belgium speaks French or something called Flemish, which is closely related to Dutch. But there's a part of Eastern Belgium which is German speaking. And there's the same thing is true with Italy. Most of Italy is Italian speaking, but in the north there is a part called South Tyrol, which is also German speaking. So, which countries are we going to talk about during this lecture? Mostly Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Luxembourg and Liechtenstein are really super tiny, so there's not so much to say about them. And Belgium and Italy don't really count as German-speaking countries because it's only certain small parts of the country that actually speak German. So this lecture will mostly focus on Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Maybe we will focus a little more on Germany because I am personally German, so I can say much more about this. I've been to Austria twice in my life. I have never been to Switzerland, so I know a couple of things about those places, but I can give you like first-hand really experience from Germany. So we will focus a little bit on Germany and also talk about Austria and Switzerland during this lecture. Let's begin. Yeah, so some really basic data on Germany. So as you've just seen, it's located right in the middle, right in the heart of Europe. It has 357,588 square kilometers, which makes it the 4th largest country in the European Union after France, Spain, and Sweden. Almost 84 million people live in Germany, which is a little more than a third of the people living in Nigeria. And 14% of them are foreign citizens. Our neighboring countries are Poland, Czech Republic, Austria, Switzerland, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, France, Belgium, and Denmark. So just like Nigeria, Germany is divided into states. We have 16 states overall, which in German are called Bundesländer. Most of them are pretty big, but we also have 3 city-states: Berlin, the capital, then we have Hamburg in the north, and then we have Bremen, which is here. So, like I said, the capital is Berlin. It has almost 4 million people living in it, like it's 3.8 million. Other large cities are Hamburg, which I just mentioned, Munich, maybe some of you know the Bayern Munich Football Club. Then there's Cologne, which is here. There's Frankfurt, and there is something called the Ruhrgebiet or the Ruhr area, which is here. It's not one city. As you see, it's a bunch of cities that kind of blend into each other. So it's like one city that consists of many cities. So I wanted to mention that as well. So the largest Bundesland is or state is Bavaria or Bayern. You know, Bayern Munich. It's here. The most populated Bundesland is Nordrhein-Westfalen, which is here. Like I said, it's where the Ruhr area or Ruhrgebiet is. So there's a lot of cities here. The smallest and least populous Bundesland is Bremen. So, as you see, different parts of Germany have different dialects. And by the way, there's also a difference between German German, Austrian German, and Swiss German. And then within German, we have German German, but it's divided into different dialects. So what you will learn during your degree course is the standardized German spoken in Germany, because that is the one that will really help you the most, that is most widely understood everywhere. And you know, you would think that maybe that is spoken in Berlin, but no. The most perfect standard German is spoken here in a city called Hanover in the state of Niedersachsen. So that is the type of German that you will learn during your studies. So, as you see here, there's quite a big difference in the geography of northern and southern Germany. You see that northern Germany is all green, which means, you know, it's pretty flat. There's not a lot of mountains or hills there. And the lowest point in Germany is in the um, state of Schleswig-Holstein, which is just, you know, 3.54 meters above sea level. And in southern Germany, there are more mountains, especially in the very far south of Germany, there are the Alps. And the biggest mountain in Germany, the Zugspitze in Bavaria, is also in the south. So in the south, there's a lot of mountains. In the north, as you can see, Germany has access to the Baltic Sea and the North Sea, and it also has a couple of islands. The largest river in Germany is the Rhine, which goes along here. The largest lake in Germany is the Bodensee, which we share with Switzerland and Austria, which is down here. And the climate is really moderate. So the coldest month is maybe January, where the average is like 0.6 degrees Celsius. And the hottest month is July, where it's 18.3 degrees Celsius. So in the winter, it can get pretty cold. Depending on where you are, there can be snow. In the summer, it gets hot, but not too hot and not as hot as in Nigeria. So the next country we're going to talk about is Austria, or as we say in German, Österreich. So Austria is located south of Germany, east of Switzerland, and has 83,882 square kilometers. It has just 9 million inhabitants. So it's a pretty small country. Less people live in Austria than live in Lagos at this point. So yeah, it can't be, you know, compared to Nigeria in any way. And 19.6% of people living in Austria are foreign citizens. The neighboring countries are Germany, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovakia, Slovenia, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and Italy. So, like Germany, Austria is divided into 9 states, which are also, like in Germany, called Bundesländer. And Germany has 3 city-states. Austria only has one, the capital, Vienna, or as we say in German, Wien, which has almost 2 million inhabitants. It's the most populous state, but at the same time, the smallest state. There are a couple of other cities that I should mention, like Graz, Linz, Salzburg, Innsbruck, but none of them exceed like 1 million. They're all pretty small. So the largest state is Niederösterreich or Lower Austria. The least populous state is down here, Kärnten or Carinthia. So what's important about Austria is that it's covered in mountains, like 2/3 of Austria, as you see down here, is covered in mountains. The highest mountain is the Großglockner in Kärnten, which is 3,798 meters above sea level. And in that part of Austria, like in Kärnten, it's not so densely populated because the mountains are pretty inhospitable. So you see the capital is not located in the mountains, it's located here where it's more flat, and the biggest river in Austria is going through the capital, the Danube, or also called, the Donau. Okay, so the last country we're going to talk about is Switzerland, or as we say in German, die Schweiz. It's located south of Germany and west of Austria. As you see, it's even smaller than Austria, and it has even less people. Like it's 41,285 square kilometers, and it has 8.77 million people living there. And what's really important is that 25% or 1/4 of people who live there are actually foreigners. This is due to the fact that Switzerland is a very rich country. The salaries are very high. You can earn a lot of money there. And even a lot of Germans go to work in Switzerland to earn more money than they could back home. As I mentioned before, Switzerland is a multilingual country, which means, it has 4 official languages: German, French, Italian, and Romansh. So 64.5% of inhabitants speak German as their mother tongue, 22.7% speak French, 8.4% speak Italian, 0.5% speak Romansh, and the rest of people has other mother tongues. So they might be, foreigners, immigrants, or the children of immigrants. The neighboring countries are France, Italy, Germany, Austria, and Liechtenstein. So as you see, even though Switzerland is so small, it's divided into 26 districts. Germany is much bigger and only has 16 states. Switzerland has 26. And all of those districts have a lot of autonomy when it comes to, government and education and things like that. So that's pretty interesting. Even though they're so small, they have a lot of political autonomy. And the capital isn't a very big city. It's Bern, which has 134,500 inhabitants. Then the largest city is Zürich, which has 427,000 inhabitants. And other important cities are Genf, Basel, and Lausanne. So the most populous district is Zürich. The least populous one is something called Appenzell-Innerrhoden. The largest one is Graubünden. The smallest one is Basel. But what is maybe more interesting is the map here on this side. So the red parts are the German-speaking parts. The blue parts are the French-speaking parts. The green parts are Italian-speaking, and the yellow parts are Romansh-speaking. So you really see that the majority of Switzerland is German speaking. The red part is German speaking, and it's like the biggest part. That is why Switzerland counts as a German speaking country, even though it's a multilingual country, because German is the most widely spoken language there. So Switzerland is even more mountainous than Austria. So basically, there's a couple mountains in the north, which is Jura, and there's the Alps in the south. And then there's the Mittelland, the middle, which is between those two. And here, the Jura and the Alps are sparsely populated because, there's mountains, it's inhospitable. And in the Mittelland, it's where a lot of the big cities are, such as, Bern, the capital, which is here. And it's still hilly. It's not flat like northern Germany, for example, but it's much more hospitable than the rest. So the highest mountain is called Dufourspitze. So it's 4,634 meters. You will notice that that is higher than any mountain in Germany or Austria. And Switzerland has a ton of lakes. So the largest ones are, the Lake Geneva, which is here, shared with France, and the Bodensee, which I mentioned before, which it shares with Austria and Germany. So that is the basic facts about the German-speaking countries. So during the next few lessons, we will talk more about politics, about the educational system, about the history, about variations of the German language. Like, we will really look at those three countries from all angles. So I hope that you are really going to enjoy this lecture and see you soon. Have a great evening. Bye bye.